Surprise! Nikki Haley makes a fascinating appearance on Saturday Night Live. Apparently, you can't be a white man and a pilot anymore, as well as illegal immigrants have more rights in this country than you do. It's a great day to be laughing through the fall of Rome, everybody. We're going to do that today and more on Speechless. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless. I'm your host, Kev Phares, 23-year-old conservative radio show host and podcast host here of Speechless. And so to make sure you don't miss a minute of anything that I talk about here or the other videos and fun shorts and everything I do, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow, whatever. Find me everywhere at Speechless Kev. YouTube is my main stuff, but obviously you might be watching on Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, anything like that. Oh, I'm sorry, it's X, by the way, too. We're going to talk about that here today. But again, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff. And get those comments going, everybody. I know I get a lot of fun people that want to share. And if you got any questions or anything, if you put it in the comments, I'll bring it up on screen and we can talk about it. But we're going to start off with our first story of the day. Nikki Haley was sparking a lot of controversy in the fact that she was simply on Saturday Night Live. Now, I've been clear on this show before, Nikki Haley is not necessarily one of my favorite people in the world by any means, but I think that there's a lot of value to this clip of her on Saturday Night Live. So it was during the cold open, Nikki Haley made her appearance, and so we're going to take a look and a listen at just what Nikki Haley had to say and do on Saturday Night Live. So here we go. Let's react to this.
And now the CNN Trump Town Hall, live from Columbia, South Carolina.
Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to South Carolina. We are your hosts tonight. I'm Charles Barkley.
And I am Gail King. And we're the co-host of a real CNN show that combines our two names, King Charles.
Yeah, I thought it should be Gay Bar. But then I was told that was terrible.
Yes. Tonight, the people of South Carolina will ask former President Trump.
Questions like, can you bet on a town hall?
I don't know what happened there, but we'll keep watching.
Now, please welcome the former President of the United States.
He's been around the court more than me, and I was in the NBA. President Donald Trump.
Thank you.
So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to predict it right now as we're already starting this, is that a lot of this is going to be a Trump roast fest. And I haven't watched all this yet. I've only seen some of the headlines or read a little bit about it. But here's what I'm going to predict, that this is going to be a Trump roast fest. And it's just going to be all the lefties on SNL who do half-assed, half-baked comedy that a lot of phenomenal comedians set the stage for them all the way 70 or 50, 60 years ago, whenever it started. They now have just transformed it into, let's hate conservatives, let's hate Republicans, and we're going to do it every Saturday night. That's why no one really watches anymore. But I think that there's value to this clip. I think there's probably something in it that we can learn. And so bear with the half-baked comedy and the Trump roasts, because there's going to be value to this. I know there is. So let's keep going.
Much to the few of you who are applauding. I love being here in the great state of South Carolina, frankly, one of the top two Carolinas. South Carolina, the first state to secede from the Union, and not the last, I think. Going to see a lot of that when I win. 50 states is way too many. I think we could get it back down to 12 or 13 again.
What the hell are you talking about, man? That is the dumbest thing I've heard, and I work with Shaq.
Our first question tonight comes from an auto worker at the assembly plant for Volvo.
Volvo, which is also the medical term for hoo-ha.
Okay, that was pretty funny. I'll give him
Trump,
that.
I voted for you in 2016 and 2020.
Wow, you fell for it twice.
What makes you think you can defeat Joe Biden this time?
Well, I think I'm doing even better this time in terms of Hispanic. I like to say I put the panic in Hispanic. And people are sick of having an alleged criminal like Joe Biden in the White House. They want a convicted criminal, someone they can trust to get the crimes done right.
Somehow that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Hey, you keep doing you, homie.
Yeah, next we have a single mom.
So that just shows you, that one right there just shows you how jaded SNL is. Because that, in case you didn't see it, that was supposed to be an attempted roast on Trump supporters. That's what it was supposed to be. That's why at the end he said, and somehow that's what I wanted to hear. Because for some reason, the left seems to think that everybody knows Trump's a criminal. Like they believe that Trump is like an ardent criminal and he's a terrible person and he staged an insurrection, all that kind of stuff. They believe all that. And they believe that conservatives also see that. And if they don't, they're whack jobs. But they also think that when he talks about these phony criminal allegations that are for the purpose of political persecution, that somehow we like that he's being persecuted. No, we don't. No one who supports Trump likes that he's being persecuted, because what we know is what they'd really like to do is do that kind of stuff to us. They'd love nothing more than to throw me in a gulag. And I say every time, one, I would never kill myself. Never in a million years. And so if that were to ever happen, you know that some big names, maybe people that get blowjobs in the Oval Office, maybe they're behind it. The second thing is they don't like free speech. Well, they do. They like free speech as long as it's speech they agree with, which isn't free speech. We know all this. And so that was an attempt. That just shows you how jaded SNL is because they'll try to come after Trump supporters, but they don't even understand why anybody supports Trump. This is the problem with the leftists in the media. This is what Joy Reid just did. I did a video on this. Joy Reid will have you believe that the only reason somebody would vote for Trump is because they're a white Christian and believe Trump is the second coming. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. The reason people like Trump is because he says things the way they think. And he says the things that the left tells you can't say, but everybody is thinking. And I've gone through plenty of them on this show before, but let's keep going with the SNL stuff. That's just a sidebar about how they're shitty at comedy. But now we can see what happens with Nikki Haley. Surprise, Nikki Haley's here. I think there's value to it. We're going to find it.
Unemployed.
Wow, guys are going to be lining up after that description. President Trump, if elected, what would you do to stop Taylor Swift from infiltrating the Super Bowl and stealing the election?
You know, thank you. That's actually
That's
one
kind
of
of
the
funny.
smartest and most research questions, I think, possibly ever. You know, we all know that Biden has brainwashed Tay-Tay, okay? They're using her in something called PSYOPs, which started, of course, with the great Korean rapper Ray, Psy, right? That's his name, Psy. He's a dear friend. Gangnam. He told me he needed a new style.
Hey, that's kind of funny.
I said, what about Gangnam? We love Gangnam so much. And now they've got Tay-Tay pretending to date Trey K, that's what I call Travis Kelce. And he's such a terrible boyfriend, okay? He can't even get Taylor tickets near the field. Have you seen that? He's got her way up in a little box. So sad.
I'm sorry. How exactly will Taylor Swift being at the Super Bowl make Biden win the election?
Excuse me, let me finish. The clues are all there if you look at the Midnight's track list, okay? The Ravens' colors were lavender, but they were caught in a haze by the maroon team, the Chiefs. Anti-hero is Ant-Hero, a.k.a. Paul Rudd, who's from where? Kansas City. The next four songs contain exactly 49 letters plus E-R and S, 49ers. The vigilante is Biden, Bejeweled, Labyrinth. I don't really have anything for those, but it will be...
Okay, here's one thing I do want to point out is, so like, it's not a great Trump impression. It's not the best. It's not really funny as if he's making fun of Trump, but I do have to admit, all the stuff that he just went through there is pretty good acting. Like, because you know that he's just got like handwritten cue cards in front of him. I'm just going to give credit where credit's due. I think that was pretty good acting, or at least a pretty good delivery of those lines. Just saying.
Karma for Sweet Nothing, a.k.a. Biden's brain, that the mastermind behind it all will, of course, be Barack Hussein Obama. And that all adds up to bing, 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 bong, bing, bong, bing, 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 bing. Another stolen election, Taylor's version.
My God.
That was
I
kind
was
of funny.
skeptical at first, but now it all makes sense.
Our next question comes from someone who says he really, really likes President Trump times a million. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
Hey, Donald, it's me, your best friend, Tim Scott. I flew all the way to New Hampshire to endorse you, remember?
Vaguely.
I don't have a question, I have a statement. I'd like to say you are the bestest, most handsomest presidential candidate that I've ever seen. I look at you and I think, is that hot Lincoln?
All right, Tim.
See, here's the thing. And so with all of this, I'm going to point out to a comment, poor writing, not funny, bad acting. So there is some good, some decent actor moments and some decent moments of writing and where some things can be a little funny. But here's where, Kurt, you're right. And here's where a lot of people don't get why SNL has gone downhill. The reason why it's gone downhill is because they write jokes not for everyone to laugh at. Because here's the thing, a lot of people can laugh at themselves. I think there's a lot of jokes about conservatives, about Trump supporters, about MAGA, about all that are kind of deprecating to the movement, to Trump, to myself, that I think are funny. There are ways to make fun of yourself that are funny, and to make fun of others that is funny. But the way they do it, the way they write, is for the purpose of catering to an only leftist audience, to only liberals. They write jokes for liberals to laugh at. They do not write jokes for everybody to laugh at, but there are ways to make fun of every side for everyone to laugh at. I'm a firm believer in that, and SNL doesn't do that. But let's keep going with more. Nikki Haley still hasn't showed up. Where is she? Where are you, Nikki? I thought you made a surprise appearance. This is posted on her YouTube, by the way, too.
All right, that's a little much even for me. Hey, Tim Scott, everybody, you know, he's a lot like Scott toilet paper. There's not much there. You can see right through it, but it's better than nothing.
Okay, our next question comes from someone who describes herself as a concerned South Carolina voter.
Yes, hello.
Oh, there she is. She's there. Warmongering liberal Nikki
My
Haley.
question is, why won't you debate Nikki Haley?
Oh, my God, it's her, the woman who was in charge of security on January 6th. It's Nancy Pelosi.
For the 100th time, that is not Nancy Pelosi. It is Nikki Haley.
Are you doing okay, Donald? You might need a mental competency test.
You know what I did? I took the test and I aced it, okay? Perfect score. They said I'm 100% mental. And, you know, I'm confident because I'm a man. That's why a woman should never run our economy. Women are terrible with money. In fact, a woman I know recently asked me for $83.3 million.
That's
And you've spent $50 million in your own legal fees. Do you need to borrow some money?
Oh, Nikki, don't do this, Nikki. Nikki Tiki Tavi. Nikki, don't lose that number. Nikki Haley, Joel Osment. Nikki Haley, Joel Osment, we call her. 6 cents. Remember that one? I see dead people.
Yeah, that's what voters will say if they see you and Joe on the ballot.
Oh, that's not very nice, Nikki. It's not nice. And I'm always very nice to you, except when I'm implying you weren't born in this country. Even though you're from South Carolina, and now I'm going to beat you in your state.
He
And
is.
did you win your home state in the last election?
I won Staten Island. And the parts of Long Island where the fist fights happen, where they get out of the cars if you honk at them. I love my World Star Whites.
All right, well, that is a new one on me. Okay, we have time for one more question, and it's actually for Ambassador Haley.
I was just curious, what would you say was the main cause of the Civil War? And do you think it starts with an S and ends with a lavery?
Yep, I probably should have said that the first time. And live from New York, it's Saturday night.
That was so funny. I'm laughing so hard. No, there was, like I said, there were some funny parts, but overall, that was cringeworthy. That was more than cringeworthy. It was not funny. And okay, sure, she can laugh at herself with the slavery thing. That was a big story. Is at one point she walked around the idea that the Civil War was started by, or was basically started because of slavery. All of that, though, the only purpose of that was to make fun of Donald Trump. That's all of it. That Trump and his supporters. They wouldn't have invited Nikki Haley on to do anything that actually promoted her. And so that's why I think this is really funny, is Nikki Haley sees this as a win for her, as if somehow this is going to boost her public image and her campaign. And no, in reality, Nikki, I hope that you in some way checked off your bucket list of being on SNL, because that was the only way it was ever going to happen. You're never going to be president. No chance. Or at least you're not going to be the Republican nominee this time around. Maybe you'll be the Democrat nominee the next time around. But even then, probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. I do also want to point out, because Saturday night's a big time for television. And interestingly enough, there was a liberal on TV last night that honestly destroyed Nikki Haley. And that's Bill Maher. And I've talked about Bill Maher on this show before, and he actually does, in my opinion, a pretty good job of being a traditional liberal, unlike pretty much anybody else. So let's take a look and a listen at this clip of Bill Maher's show, and where he basically just destroys Chris Sununu, who's trying to defend Nikki Haley. Take a look and a listen.
No, he's not. We're Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley, 24.
Okay.
And I mean it.
Let's deal in reality here.
Yeah.
Reality. Okay. First of all, Nikki Haley's not going to be the nominee. It is Trump. Let's not argue about stupid things. Secondly,
if you're buying that, though, you're buying into the fact that the voters don't matter.
Wait a second.
I don't buy that. Yeah.
The voters do matter, and they're voting for Trump overwhelmingly.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Oh my God. And by the way, I'm thinking right now YouTube is trying to take me down for copyright. I'm seeing this. I think YouTube's trying to take me down for copyright. Everybody, this is kind of a big deal. So who is watching currently on YouTube? If you're on YouTube right now and you can see me, comment in the comment section. I'm getting some texts from people too. My stream was interrupted. Oh my gosh. Due to a copyright infringement. I just got the email too. Who is watching on YouTube right now? If you see me right now on YouTube, David. Okay. That is insane. I did probably briefly get taken down for copyright infringement. That full video, if you guys missed any of my commentary when it comes to Nikki Haley, that will be up later on my YouTube, and I will fight against that policy violation. That's insane, because that's currently up on Nikki Haley's YouTube channel. So there's no way where I shouldn't be allowed to have that up there. But to finish out that kind of segment is Nikki Haley will never be president of the United States. Nikki Haley will never be president of the United States. I'm pretty solid on that. However, I did say that there was going to be value to her being on SNL. And here's the value I saw. The way I got brought onto that story and to make it the headline story of today is on Twitter. Nikki Haley was trending and Lorne Michaels was trending. Nikki Haley was trending because conservatives were up in arms that she was on SNL in general, and they were rightfully calling her appearance cringe-worthy. It was. Leftists, however, were also very mad at Lorne Michaels because he let Nikki Haley on. And she's just a neocon. She is a neocon, but they were trying to frame her as if she's any level of a conservative, which she's not. She's not. And so what's the value to Nikki Haley being on SNL, as we just saw? The value is that we've learned. No one likes Nikki Haley. We already kind of knew that. But no one really likes Nikki Haley. The people that do are the deep pocket, quiet, silent influencers that want to enrich themselves more, that want an establishment elite that they can basically have bought and paid for in the White House to do their bidding. And that's what Nikki Haley would be. So People often say the term rhino. I don't like using it that often because I think some people destroyed that term when they started calling people like Ron DeSantis a rhino. But I would say in the traditional sense, yes, she is a rhino. By the way, yes, so YouTube is being weird. YouTube has been weird to me these last few days. I was getting thousands and thousands of views on a lot of my shorts. A lot of people were seeing them, the memes I was putting out, everything like that. But all of a sudden now my shorts are getting I have multiple shorts out there that don't have a single view, or they have less than 10. I have more people watching this live stream right now than have seen some of my shorts. Why? Because of ScrewTube. ScrewTube is coming after me, everybody. Copyright warnings, YouTube cut out when I was when the question was about to be put to Haley. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Nikki Haley is Hillary Clinton with an R next to her name. Absolutely. And so here's really the point of what I'm saying. I mean, I kind of finished off the Nikki Haley stuff, but everybody, reminder. Like this video. Yes, I'd love if you guys like every video. Comment. I want to be able to interact with you in every single way. But most importantly, share. Share and follow, subscribe on every social media platform, so that, because YouTube could take me off any day, but I'll still have Rumble, Speechless Kev. YouTube is where most of my content goes, but I have backup so I can post it and get it to other social media platforms. Check me out on TikTok, on Instagram, all that stuff. Twitter, that's a good one, or X. Find me on those, because YouTube obviously doesn't want some of these messages said. So make sure you guys are following everywhere that you can. And let me know what's going on in the comments. Make sure, can everybody see and hear me just fine? If you can see and hear me just fine, that's good. And I appreciate it. But YouTube must have had a little bit of an issue with some of what I was talking about there. And Bill Mayer knows what he's talking about too, because he knows. Nikki Haley will not be the nominee. And any of these sad attempts to get her name out there more are simply that, a sad attempt. Let's get into some more comments here, guys. I appreciate you guys. We're good for now. Perfect. Who knows, though? I got more stuff we're going to look at and talk about, and so maybe ScrewTube will get mad even further and try to take me down. We'll see. We'll see. But I got to, for my next story, I got to get some of the stuff prepared. So we're going to make sure I get all of that ready. Post any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts in the comments. And in the meantime, guys, too, if you want to support the show, I've produced this all on my own. I have my webcam right there. I got some stuff that make it decent, but I always want to try to get it better. And so I do have down there my Cash App, my Venmo and stuff that you guys, if you feel so inclined, never going to beg, but if you feel so inclined and want to support the show in some way, I'd appreciate if you would consider possibly making a contribution so I can upgrade equipment, make things better. I'd appreciate it. ScrewTube can suck a fish. I'm starting to get comments from Rumble. If you guys are on Rumble, I can actually get comments from Rumble up here. I don't usually get it there. But it looks like YouTube is back up. And so if you're watching on Rumble, that's great. But I'd love if you guys watched on YouTube, because that's where most of my analytics are and that's where most of my stuff are. So, but if YouTube ever goes down, be ready to go over to Rumble like Demon Girl. I'd appreciate it, because ScrewTube can suck a fish, but it is the most user-friendly. I will say it's the most user-friendly platform for creators. It really is. It really is. The next story I will be talking about, in case you guys wanted a little sneak peek as I get some stuff ready here for it, is we're talking about airlines. Airlines. There's been a lot of talk about airlines recently. Video but no audio on YouTube. Are you guys getting that too? Can you guys all hear me on YouTube? Are you guys there? Can you guys hear me? Try it again, Demon Girl. If you can't, who cares? You got at least Rumble. Let's get everything up here though for these clips that we're going to be doing, because we got a lot to talk about here. You can hear, David can hear on YouTube. Okay. So reminder, everybody, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it, comment, keep the comments coming. I want to know what you guys think about this next video or this next story here. I want to know what you guys have to say, because I think it's fascinating and it's been controversial. It's been controversial. People on both the left and the right have been attacking Charlie Kirk, saying that he's a racist. And it's for a new reason, apparently. It's for a new reason. No, it's not because he doesn't support critical race theory. It's not because he wants voter ID. It's now because of his comments on airline pilots. But let's back up a little bit. Let's back up. There's a few different stories I want to cover with this. Out of the New York Post, the FAA, the Federal Aviation Association, is taking on a new, quote unquote, diversity and inclusion hiring plan, which claims, quote, diversity is integral to achieving the FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel across our nation and beyond. Once again, this says diversity is integral to ensure safe and efficient travel. Why would in any way diversity be integral to safety? Diversity, not because they're not talking about diversity of thought. They're not talking about, multiple ways in which we can ensure that if a plane were to go down, we could keep people safe. That's not what they're talking about. What they're talking about is, do we have different skin colors? Do we have different sexualities? How does that promote safety and efficiency? I don't know, but it continues. Well, so what does that even really mean? Well, here's another way that they describe what it means. The FAA's website states targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruitment and hiring. They include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, and dwarfism. So that's what the FAA is focusing on hiring. Your new air traffic controller might be a paranoid schizophrenic because, hey, at least it's diverse. Your new air traffic controller might be chasing the dragon because, hey, at least it's diverse. You want to know the saddest thing is that dwarfs get put into all this. Dwarfism. Look, I'll say personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Peter Dinklage, but I don't think he deserves to be put on the same list as somebody with a psychiatric disability or a blind individual in terms of how well they could handle a situation that has to do with airplanes. They say that this whole thing is about ensuring safe and efficient travel. I got to be honest. I wouldn't feel that safe with somebody who's blind controlling my magic skybox that's supposed to get me from point A to point B. I don't really feel very safe and comfortable with that. But this is what happens when the FAA which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, which I will always have to say, Peter's middle name, I think it's Paul, or it starts with a P. And so Pete Buttigieg's initials are PP Butt, just in case you're wondering, PP Butt. And he's the Secretary of the Department of Transportation, which is a government agency charged with regulating civil aviation and employs roughly 45,000 people. So diversity is what matters the most. Diversity is what matters the most. Diversity is also of the concern of airlines in general. In September of last year, the Chicago Sun-Times, which I'm from the Chicagoland area, so I'm going to bring it up. Chicago Sun-Times published an op-ed titled, this is actually the title of an op-ed in the Chicago Sun-Times. I'm not even kidding. White men have ruled the sky as airline pilots, but that's finally changing. I love it. White men have ruled the sky. As if like I have the ability to just like fly like an eagle through the sky, and I'm just up there and saying, ha ha ha, look at all the minorities who can't fly. No, that's not how it works. But don't worry, they're happy it's finally changing. This is how the article begins. It began with 90% of the time the speaker is white male when you hear, "This is your pilot speaking." Just 3.4% of U.S. airline pilots are black. 2.2% are of Asian descent, and a paltry 0.5% are Hispanic or Latino. Women make up just 4.6%. Oh, but don't worry, everybody. As the article hints in the title, that's going to change. Many airlines have not only pledged to be more diverse, they've also promised to be more discriminatory against evil white men who have ruled the sky for way too long. In a slideshow posted to the Libs of TikTok Southwest Air, or to Libs of by Libs of TikTok, Southwest Airlines is pledging. Here's what they're pledging. You guys can see it on screen here. We are committed to measuring our progress in increasing diversity in senior leadership and reporting our progress openly. We are committed to doubling racial diversity and increasing gender diversity in our senior leadership team by 2025. We are also committed to increasing diverse representation on the Southwest Airlines board of directors. So, senior leadership, pilots, everybody. It's all about the color of your skin or what's between your legs, who you like to sleep with. Nowhere in there does it say, hey, let's try to get the best pilots there are, the people with the smoothest landing, the smoothest takeoff, and the best communication skills. No. It's about how much melanin you got in your skin. And if you can get pregnant. I can't even say women anymore, remember? Because apparently men can get pregnant too in 2024. This is just craziness to me. So don't worry, everybody. Southwest Airlines has promised to discriminate against white men in their hiring practices. And, don't worry. There's other airlines, right? There's other airlines. Well, United Airlines, their CEO, is taking it a step further. He's not just making the pledge. To be diverse and to hire diverse and discriminate against white men. No. The United Airlines CEO is taking it a step further in the fact that he himself is participating in said diversity. It was recently found out on and posted all over Twitter that the United Airlines CEO is actually a crossdresser. Or, that's not politically correct anymore. Trans, maybe, I don't know. What is he really? A drag queen. That's one of the words that I'm allowed to use. Yes, this man dresses up as a woman and even, in fact, forces it down his employees' throats at corporate events. And so take a look and a listen, if you can stomach it, to the United Airlines CEO partaking in some drag queen affairs. Here's that. That's him. That's Scott Kirby. Gosh, I'd be terrified if that was my stewardess on an airplane. But just for fun, funsies. We'll keep watching this grown man in a dress. This is absolutely cringe-worthy. All right, that's enough of that. But yeah, so United Airlines is taking it so much further in terms of how exactly they're going to promote diversity. But that's what is of utmost importance right now to our airlines. It's by no means, and this all comes as reports of planes having doors ripped off mid-flight, of random 100-foot drops, several hundred, if not 1,000-foot drops mid-flight. This comes as airplanes are being recalled. And yet in every sector, through the FAA, to pilots, to senior level officials in these major companies, their focus is not on safety. They'll claim it is, and they'll claim that diversity is the way to safety without giving any level of a clear logical path as to how they make that conclusion. There is no clear logical path to that conclusion. And Charlie Kirk is somebody who pointed this out. And not only did he point that out, he also pointed out the psychological effect that this will have on society. And yet, people on both the right and the left called him racist. So ask yourselves, as I play you this clip, is Charlie Kirk a racist? And this is him not only for the initial clip, but also his reaction to the initial clip when he started getting called a racist. So take a look and a listen at this clip of Charlie Kirk apparently being an evil white man racist who apparently can also rule the sky, according to the Chicago Sun-Times. But here's that.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
So you guys piggybacked off of me because you knew what I was saying. Because what I was saying is that DEI creates and fosters sinful, unwholesome thought patterns. Because when they say we're going to hire people based on race and not competency, and so you start to just say, you know, what's going on here? Blake, you're part of this. This has gone so viral.
It's like I said,
22 million people have seen it on
It went absolutely viral, and it was all, you're a racist. Listen one more time to what Kirk actually said that got him called a racist. Keep listening.
Plane, when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying square jaw, get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
And that's all that anybody was playing, is if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, oh, I hope he's qualified. Well, what did Kirk actually mean? Well, he started talking about it a little bit there at the end, but he makes a solid point. When we have all of these companies, the FAA itself, even Pete Buttigieg, prioritizing identity characteristics over quality, you're going to wonder, is that person qualified? And like I said, this was not just lefties that came after him. There were Republicans as well. And so then people started responding. And so real quick, we'll take a look and a listen at one of these responses. This is Alex Cole, who went viral now on Twitter, over 1 million views on this video. And the caption to this is, share this to piss off racist Republicans like Charlie Kirk who don't trust black pilots. Here is that video. It's just music that'll probably get me a copyright violation, but it's just a video of him on Delta Airlines with a bunch of other black pilots. And Charlie Kirk by no means was saying, this is the problem, is if you look at this tweet, let's take off that up there. It says, who don't trust black pilots. Nowhere in that clip did Charlie Kirk say that this was about that he didn't trust black pilots. It's not what he said. What he said is simply something that we see in a lot of different things. And so to answer the question first, is Charlie Kirk a racist? No, of course not. He said the quiet part out loud, and that's what people got mad about. What did he say that was the quiet part? This is the implication from these airline companies and the FAA when they say they're going to prioritize minorities, women, and the disabled in their hiring, and thus decrease hiring the evil straight white man. They imply that the minorities were not so qualified, so they will lower their standards to meet society's fragile ego. Because society demands that we need to have representation over quality, safety, efficiency, anything. What Kirk was saying is the same thing people have said for years about affirmative action. The question, how do you know that you actually deserve to be where you are if there are standards in place that benefit you based on your identity that expect less of you because of it. It's a soft bigotry of low expectations. If anything, what not only is what Charlie Kirk said right, because he was also saying that what these DEI things are doing is making it so that we have thoughts that could be perceived more racist. Because you won't trust somebody when there's a public perception and a publicly known perception that you were hired based on your race, or you could have been hired based on your race and not because you're necessarily the best fit for the job. But what this also does is it actually promotes the patriarchy and the evil straight white man. How so? Because now, when you see a straight white guy as your pilot on United or working for the FAA, you're going to trust that guy more now. Because if you can make it past all the barriers that they are publicly putting in your way as an evil straight white man, you must be a pretty damn good pilot. You must be pretty damn good at your job. Because even when they were saying, we're not going to hire you because of your skin color, you still got hired. You must probably be the most qualified. But what do you guys think? Maybe I'm wrong. Is Charlie Kirk an ardent racist? Are we supposed to have black pilots and women pilots and disabled pilots instead of worrying about the best pilot? Just saying. Just saying. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. Let me know. And I'll also point out for Kev's bad joke of the day. When I say bad, it just means inappropriate. I wouldn't really trust a Muslim pilot. Bad joke of the day. There we go. I don't know what you... Oh, might have to cut that one out. I don't know. Maybe that one's a little too saucy for ScrewTube. We'll see. But let's check out some of the comments, everybody. Let me know what you're thinking. Put it in there. Okay. I'm calling in pregnant tomorrow. I'm calling in pregnant tomorrow. That's a good one. That's a good one. You know, I never thought about race when listening to pilots. I just wanted to know they were highly trained. That's how most people are. That's how most people are. DEI is institutional racism. It must be defeated. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm in 100% agreement with that one. Keep posting some comments, guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking about a lot of these things. And also make sure you guys are liking the video, share, subscribing to every social media platform at Speechless Kev. It's Instagram. I know I have other Instagrams up there. I recently made at Speechless Kev. That is for Speechless content. That is stuff where I will post updates there, fun things. I'm on TikTok too now. I know people are getting me into these other social media platforms. It's not really my thing, but I'm told that that's the only way you can spread messages is if you're everywhere inundating people with messages. But here's this is a good one. Demon Girl, who isn't real. It's not like you can hear from the speaker anyways. It's basically just like, it's like the Charlie Brown people, right? That's how it sounds when you're on a lot of airplanes. You're right. You're right. That's funny. That's funny. But I do want to bring up this next story too. Keep the comments coming, guys. I'm just starting to bring up my clips for this next story having to do with these social media companies that testified before Congress. That's what we're going to talk about next. These social media companies testified before a Senate hearing committee this last week. And there's a lot of messages to get out of it. But keep the comments coming. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Let's get all this set up here. Okay, and make sure you follow everywhere. If you want the Rumble links and stuff like that, you should be able to go to the link in the description or bio. It's a link tree that says follow, and it should say follow Speechless everywhere. You can find all of my social media condensed simply in there. Go follow all of it. I'd really appreciate it, guys, because we got more. We do have more to talk about here, though. Let's start off with this one. And also, in the meantime, if I have time at the end, or if not this week, I could also do a video on it later. Make sure if you guys want to talk about anything specific, story tips, ideas for shows, questions, anything like that, there's my email that you can hit up. I'll respond. I usually do. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope all is well. Okay, let's get into my next story here. So we have social media companies that testified before Congress this week. Out of the Daily Wire, 5 CEOs of big tech companies, Meta, X, TikTok, Snap, and Discord, testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee last week. And simply put, they made excuses for the failure of their platforms to protect children online from harmful content, dangerous algorithms, and child predators. Trigger and content warning. We're going to be talking about some interesting things here. And when I say interesting, I mean gross and from some of the darkest, worst parts of society. In short, when it comes to this story, my kids will not be having their own smart devices until they are older and mature enough to know the serious dangers. Now, what are some of those dangers? Every day, new evidence comes to light showing just how far big tech is willing to go to put profit over safety. The media will often discuss child sexual exploitation on the internet as it relates to X, formerly Twitter. But the evidence points a different story. And when I say that, the media will always talk about how X is the main perpetrator. X is where this happens. Just this month, newly released internal documents about Meta's child safety policies revealed that in 2021, an estimated 100,000 minors received sexually abusive content from adults on Facebook and Instagram every day. Every day, 100,000 minors received abusive content from adults. Although employees warned top executives that Meta's algorithm connected minors with potential child predators, the company ignored their warnings and did nothing about abuse on their platforms. And when asked about this, Zuck gives very half-hearted answers and plausible deniability type responses when grilled by Ted Cruz. Let's take a look and a listen at that clip right here of Ted Cruz grilling Mark Zuckerberg.
Instagram also displayed the following warning screen to individuals who were searching for child abuse material. These results may contain images of child sexual abuse. And then you gave users 2 choices. Get resources or see results anyway. Mr. Zuckerberg, what the hell were you thinking?
All right, Senator. The basic science behind that is that when people are searching for something that is problematic.
I love how he's like, there's the basic science behind that. The right answer in this situation, Zuck, if you still had to have the see results anyways thing, even if you still had that, the right answer would have been, oh, crap, we probably shouldn't have had that. We probably shouldn't have done that. Ah, man, we're going to change that right away. But instead, he's like, no, the science behind that. No, you should see results. There still should be a reason you see results anyways. No, okay, keep listening.
It's often helpful to, rather than just blocking it, to help direct them towards something that that could be helpful for getting them to get help.
In what, I understand, get resources. In what sane universe is there a link for see results anyway?
Well, because we might be wrong. We try to trigger this warning, or we tried to, when we think that there's any chance that the results.
Okay, you might be wrong. Let me ask you, how many times was this warning screen displayed?
I don't know, but
you don't know. Why don't you know?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head.
You don't know. Why don't you know? No, exactly. Call him out on it. Call him out on it. Because this is the lip service that I'm talking about. They don't care. Now, you'll have some that come out and say that Instagram actually wants to promote child exploitation. Maybe, but I don't think it would necessarily be that they want to promote child exploitation in general. I think it's just that they want to promote their pockets. And if child exploitation is the way in which they do that, they don't care. They don't care. And as long as you have people consistently on your platform, using it, driving content promotion, creation, usage, they'll keep making more. They'll keep making more. And so they will do small things like, oh, are you sure you want to see this? Yeah, I still want to see it. That's what's going to happen. From a creep, a weirdo, a pedo. That's really what's going to happen. You could probably say a Hollywood elite too. It's probably the same kind of person. But on the other hand, and that's how Mark Zuckerberg answers, and that's what happens with him. However, then you have the opening statement of ex-CEO Linda Yaccarino to the Senate committee, in which she discusses what X has done. It's not just put up this thing on a screen to stop people from seeing it. No, here's what X does. And remember, X is the one, Twitter is the one that consistently gets hammered in the media about sexual exploitation and child sexual exploitation. So take a look and a listen at Linda Yaccarino and what she had to say right here.
X suspended 12.4 million accounts for violating our CSE policies. This is up from 2.3 million accounts that were removed by Twitter in 2022. X suspended 12.4 million accounts for violating our CSE policy.
So what does Twitter do? What does X do? They kick them off. They kick them off. They say goodbye. Bye-bye. No more. Yada, yada. Get out of here. That's what they do. Instagram or and Facebook are like, well, maybe we're wrong. Maybe this kid diddler, this To Catch a Predator contestant, maybe he's actually just looking for his own kids or something. No. When you find out somebody is participating in this, you kick them off. And yet, in the media, X is still dragged through the mud. Why is that? Well, there's two things to take away from this story. The first is child sexual exploitation is a rampant problem. And the tool of social media is being used for it. Many companies will consistently put profit over safety. And this is just one way that we're working to hold them accountable, by talking about it and by exposing it in these types of Senate hearings. The Sound of Freedom is a true story. And social media plays a big part of it in today's day and age. The second thing that I think is very important is that the media and these companies, most of them, don't really care about child sexual exploitation. And if they do, they don't care about it as much as they care about X, formerly Twitter. They care about Twitter. They're afraid of Twitter. Look up articles on the issue of CSE and social media. Most of the references are data and analytics related to Twitter, now X, especially since Elon Musk took it over. Why? Because if the media and other social media companies can frame Twitter, the only current social media that has a widespread usage and also is the most adherent to free speech policies, if they can frame that as the pedosphere, which is really much more Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, if they can frame Twitter as that guy, then the media doesn't have to worry about the free speech platform, and the rest of the social media companies get rid of the powerhouse and free speech sphere that Twitter actually is. So that's really what it is. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious because that's the way I see it. It's a lot of big stories coming out of that one. Because it shows how corrupt everybody is in this situation. Everybody's flipping corrupt. Your kids could meet people online for business purposes only. Yeah, I guess something like that, Demon Girl. I don't know what you mean there. I don't know what you mean. But keep the comment section running, guys. I don't know. Maybe we got some coming in on Twitter. I'll go check my Twitter right now. I got a few more stories here that we're going to go through. The next one's kind of short. I'll get it all ready. I just want to go see. I don't know if I get comments on my Twitter or anything. We'll see here. I got some people watching and stuff on there. I appreciate it. But yeah, okay. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go to my next story here. This one's, you guys, I talked a little bit about this. You guys might know on Saturdays, I do a live stream with Breakaway USA. Make sure you guys go check out Breakaway_USA on YouTube and pretty much everywhere else. They do great work. But I talked about this with my co-host on my weekend update, Gentry Jevers. I just have some different things to talk about with it. But it's about these illegal immigrants in New York. Let me get everything up here and get it all ready. Again, I produce this show all on my own. If you guys want to support me and help it so I can have better equipment, better computer, better everything, please consider contributing to the show. I noticed some of you guys talked about how Rumble didn't take any of my video down earlier and stuff. I understand that. The only one of the platforms that I'm currently on that provides me ad revenue is YouTube. And so as much as YouTube will try to silence me in a lot of things, it's the only one that I can get funding to reinvest into the show and into making this better. And so if you want to help me be able to not rely on YouTube so much, this would be a way to do so. And I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys for considering. But obviously I'm not going to beg. I'm just letting you know that that's the reason, one of the reasons why I am stuck with YouTube a lot. It also, if you missed it on screen like that, it's also running around in the ticker down there if you're considering. But let's get into this story. Illegal immigrants, illegal aliens have more rights in this country than you do, for the most part. Let's talk about this one. Out of the Daily Wire, 2 New York Police Department officers were beaten by illegal immigrants near Times Square last weekend, as video footage shows the policemen struggling on the ground with the perpetrators. The officers told the group of illegal aliens who were loitering in the street to move along around 8:30 on Saturday. Moments later, a fight broke out that saw the illegal aliens gang up on the 2 policemen. The New York Post reported this, and the video footage shared by the NYPD shows the officers attempting to arrest one of the illegal immigrants as others kick and punch the officers in the head. In all, 4 illegal immigrants were eventually apprehended and subsequently released without bail. Now, the video of them being released went absolutely viral. Absolutely viral. Let's take a look and a listen. This is on Fox News, them being released. And here, just pay attention to their tone and their overall demeanor when they're released from jail after assaulting. These are illegal immigrants who assaulted police officers, released from jail without bail. Take a look and a listen.
Just into Fox News now, NYPD making 2 more arrests, illegal immigrants, and that attack on officers. Those suspects also allegedly stole an officer's cell phone.
So look at that one real quick right there. So this one will cover his face so that nobody can see and identify him, but he'll still proceed to flick off the camera and flick everybody off in a country in which he is not a citizen, nor does he have a visa or a reason to be here, and has committed further crimes as well. Keep watching.
Those suspects also allegedly stole an officer's cell phone. Well, that'll help them track you down. So a 5th illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret. He was seen, as you can see, giving his 2 middle fingers to the cameras moments after being released without bail. Florida Senator Marco Rubio wrote, "Message to America from one of the illegal immigrants who assaulted NYPD officers, walked free with no bail, and heads back to a shelter funded by taxpayers." So far, police have shared 4 mugshots of the now 7 people arrested in connection with the brutal beatings in Times Square.
Yeah. So Laura Ingraham says it right. And even Marco Rubio made a pretty darn good comment regarding it. No remorse. No remorse. These people that have already committed crimes simply by coming across our border illegally, and then also now committing assault against officers. That is how they act when they're released from jail with no bail. To an extent, though, as much as I'll be unhappy with these illegal immigrants, I blame the system. I don't blame them. We have a system that has enabled this level of entitlement when they don't have any entitlement to be released from jail, let alone even be here in general. We have a system that enables that across this country, but not necessarily in every single part of this country. No, one of the illegal aliens, which was released without bail, also has 2 other open cases for assault and robbery. He allegedly, quote, pushed, punched, and bit an employee at Nordstrom Rack after he was caught trying to steal a $130 item. And in another alleged robbery attempt at Macy's last month, Reverend, who's the illegal alien, is accused of punching a loss prevention officer. Seriously. So we're enabling this behavior. This man commits 2 other crimes, released, assaults an officer of the law, released. Like, what are we doing? Are we fishing in a protected area? Playing catch and release with these illegal immigrants? Oh, man. Slap him on the wrist. Don't do that again. Don't do that again. We have stupid people running a lot of our cities, but not all of them. But the truth is that New York City, Chicago, and similar areas, in those areas, you will have more rights and privileges as a non-citizen of this country than actual citizens do. What do I mean? A citizen who gets a DUI, which again, a crime, you should be punished for it, rightfully. If you get a DUI, you would not be released from jail without bail in Chicago, New York, pretty much anywhere. You would not be released without bail. But an illegal who assaults a cop, scot-free, out of there, after also committing 2 other crimes. We are giving non-citizens more rights than citizens. But notice how I clarified in there that where your rights are limited is dependent on where you are. That's because not all locations are equal. A CNN host was actually left stunned during a news segment this week after one of the network's law enforcement analysts explained to her why illegal aliens commit crimes in New York but not Florida. Everybody, let's take a look and listen at this clip, which was on CNN. Again, liberal CNN. And what he had to say, because this is genius, and it's true, and I'll explain that, but let's take a look and listen.
You don't touch our police officers. You don't touch anybody. Thank you, everybody.
I mean, we're hearing a change when it comes to immigration in general from President Biden on down. To hear her talk about that, it is also directly related to the fact that these were police officers. Does that have any impact? Does that change anything?
Well, it's so complicated because, you know, you're a New Yorker. You move through the city every day as I do. We see these people, we touch these people. They're out looking for work. They're delivering our food. They're at the gas stations and the car wash. I mean, these are people who came in waves, you know, 170,000 probably to New York City. But within that group, this hardworking, you know, throngs of people in search of hope and a better life, there is this 1%er, you know, criminal element that looks at a different opportunity here. These individuals, I went over their rap sheets yesterday. Multiple charges: grand larceny, robbery, attempted robbery, grand larceny, grand larceny. This particular crew operated on mopeds and scooters. They were doing organized retail theft. They were doing snatches on the street, iPhones, iPads, clothing, so on and so forth. One of them that they are still seeking has 10 charges on one day because he's part of a pattern that's been going on. And I'm looking at the dates that their arrest started, which is probably close to when they got here. They've only been here a couple of months. So what the detectives are telling me is they have crews here that operate in New York, do all their stealing, then go to Florida to spend the money and then come back. And I'm like, well, why don't they just stay and steal in Florida? And they said, because there you go to jail.
Oh.
Great point.
Oh. Oh. It's almost like places where you enforce criminal standards and criminal conducts. It's almost like criminals will be less likely to commit criminal acts there. Not to mention the fact that I guarantee you the economy down in Florida is better than that of New York. So the dollar you steal in New York will go a lot further down in Florida. Because when you enable crime and you put through policy that says you're not going to get punished, crime is going to happen. Crime is going to happen. And that's what happens at a very small scale. That's what's happening in the Illinois area. I'm from Naperville, Illinois. It's about 30 minutes south of Chicago. And here's what's happening right now is so Chicago is getting all these migrants from Texas that's getting shipped up here by Governor Abbott. Well, they get to Chicago and then they take the train from Chicago to all these suburbs around. And then they start committing crimes down here. But in Naperville and in DuPage County, we have a state's attorney, Bob Berlin, who does great work. He actually prosecutes them. They actually get prosecuted. So we get a few headlines here and there. Illegal immigrant commits crime, thrown in jail. But then you have stories in Chicago, similar to New York. Murderer, off scot-free. And this isn't even just illegal immigrants, just period. Murderer, robbery, scot-free. Out. No bail. Kim Scott let this guy go. Didn't prosecute him. Bye-bye. Oh, man. Well, his life's just been so hard. His life's just been so hard. That's what they say. And so that is what's happening. No wonder they have no remorse. No wonder they come out and they flick everybody off. No wonder they continue to commit crimes. No wonder they have a rap sheet that's 10 crimes long plus. Because they're not getting punished. So if you don't have a conscience and you don't have a will to work and actually make something for yourself, and they're going to let you steal, why not? Why not? It's like a kid. It's like a child. If you have a young child who asks you for candy for dinner and you say no, but they know where the candy is and they go to have it, and then you just say, you shouldn't have done that. Boo. And you don't actually discipline the child whatsoever, take the candy away from anything, then they're just going to always think that they can have candy for dinner. Our country is terrible at parenting. That's essentially what it is. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I see we got some comments going here. Let's go through these. I have one more thing I want to do because I know we've been on a lot of really, really sad and cruddy topics. Not cruddy topics, but just unfortunate topics for a lot of this. And so we're going to lighten the mood with some other ones coming up here. So I'll get to the comments soon. I'm going to open these up, these videos and such. What we're going to do next is we're going to react to some TikToks. I love these TikToks because a lot of these I did not have to find on my own. I just had I just have some fans, probably some of my biggest fans, send me these TikToks. And so we're going to react to them together. And so I haven't even, not all of them, some of them I've seen, some of them I haven't. But I just think that they're very fun and we're going to talk about them together. So let me get all of these open so that I make it really easy on myself to just go, 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 go. Okay, let's get into these comments here, everybody. The only acceptable answer to illegal immigration is deportation and closed borders. To illegal immigration, yes, I am a supporter. Here's maybe where I'm more of a liberal, is I like the idea of legal immigration. One of my favorite Trump quotes that always gets put out in the media is, they're not sending their best. They're not sending their best. Rapists, murderers, they're not the best. They're not the best. That's because, and I love that quote because it has the implication that we could get the best. We could get some great doctors, some great engineers, some great minds, some tech people. I mean, think about it. Creating the atom bomb to destroy Japan after Pearl Harbor and to basically end World War II took foreigners and immigrants. I'm not against illegal, or I'm not against legal immigration and having the best. What I'm against is having an open border where just anybody can come across at any time and abuse the system. So that's what I'm for. And so I think that's not stupid. And if you disagree with me, let me know. Daniel Penny is in prison for protecting absolutely from a violent lunatic. You're absolutely right. Where are all the sane judges? They're in wealthier areas that still vote liberal, usually, but the wealthier areas where the judges know that the wealthy people won't put up with it. That's where they are. They embarrass themselves by overexposing their operatives a la Taylor Swift. Oh, stop it. Taylor Swift is barely smart enough to make a ham sandwich. Get that kind of combo going. I love getting involved in those little like spats and stuff that you guys got. I think it's fun. Okay, I don't know what order these are in. I got a lot of TikToks from some of my favorite fans. So we got a few here. And so everybody, to end out the show today, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm not ending it right now. This is going to be like the last segment, but I'm going to make sure I play the little intro video here so I can cut this as its own thing. But we're going to have some fun here. We're going to react to some TikToks here on Speechless. Hey, everybody. And no matter where you are, if you're just tuning in or whatever, this is part of a live stream. So go check out the rest of the channel if you're just tuning in or if you're watching this clip later. And when you do, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that stuff. Especially subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. But I get TikToks from some of my followers. I get people that tune in and they're like, hey, I think you'd have fun watching this. And I think I'd have fun watching you watch this. And I always have fun watching you guys watch me watch things. So we're going to have that fun right here today on Speechless. Got a bunch of TikToks that I had a great fan send in. And so let's take a look. And unless we're going to start off with this one right here. I don't know. We'll see what it is.
Accidentally drove to a Chinese restaurant instead of my gym. I realized my mistake after I ordered, so I couldn't leave. I only wanted a bite, but the food was so good I ate it all. I can't wait to go back to my gym.
I love it. That was one of the best ones I've ever seen. One of the best TikToks I have ever seen. I am blown away. Absolutely. Also, here's another thing we're going to do. We're going to try to, here we go. And I'm going to bring, if you guys are wondering what I'm doing, give me one moment and you will see exactly what I'm doing. You'll be able to see that I'm going to edit this up here, edit the screen so that you guys can see the TikToks better. Here we go. Save. Update layout. Okay, so now that should be better for these TikToks. Let's see what your guys' comment here was. Ha! Okay. Obviously funny because I always love the fat ones. I think they're hilarious. I love when people bring up a TikTok and it's just about fat people because I'm just so done with all these people and the fat phobia crap and telling me that you can't be, or that like being fat is a choice and it's beautiful and all that kind of crap. No, it's not. No, it's not. And stop pretending that it is. It's not. If you're happy the way you look, perfect. I'm happy for you. But that doesn't mean it's beautiful. All right, here's this next one. Let's see what it is. I'm going to edit this just a little bit more so that I'm further off. There we go. Update. What is this? It says here, my husband and I have removed the bottoms of all of our shoes.
and I have removed the bottoms of all of our shoes. We decided to start walking barefoot, and one of our followers had a great idea. Since some businesses don't want us being completely barefoot, if we cut off the bottom of our shoes, it'll allow us to be barefoot but blend in with everyone else. This is a huge commitment, but we were willing to make it. These are our favorite shoes. Our shoe collection is worth more than $20,000.
Then why did you cut off the bottom of them? You idiots. Why did you cut off the bottom of them? If they're my shoe collection, this is a big deal for us. Why? I'm hoping that so there's still about a minute left in this. I'm hoping somewhere in this video they describe what benefit, what genuine benefit walking barefoot actually provides them. Because to me, that sounds disgusting. Keep watching.
But this is a sacrifice we're willing to take because walking barefoot means the world to us. The benefits of walking barefoot are priceless, and now our shoes are worth more than money could ever be.
Okay,
So
So here's what we've heard. Walking barefoot means the world to us, and the benefits of it are priceless. No benefit was genuinely listed yet. Let's keep watching.
Today we got to work and started removing the bottoms. We weren't sure if this was going to be easy or hard, and it ended up being pretty easy. We made little shelves where our toes are.
That
and
was
our
one of
heels.
the stupidest statements I have ever heard. We weren't sure if this was going to be hard or easy, but it was fine. There was no genuine need for that statement, but it's added in there because this person obviously has the IQ of a squirrel. Actually, probably less than. I've seen some pretty smart squirrels before in terms of trying to get to a bird feeder and crap. So less than a squirrel.
Heels are. We made a little lip on the bottom of the shoe where our toenails will go so they can latch on, so we'll actually be able to hold on to the shoe while trying to walk without
That's gross. Very gross.
the bottom. And we did the same thing for our heels. The experience of cutting off the bottoms of our shoes was very freeing and detoxifying, just like walking barefoot is. So after we cut the bottoms off, we decided to try it out. So we went to our favorite store, Sephora, and as you know, they don't really like us in here without shoes. I needed to grab a few things for a trip we're going on. The experience was absolutely perfect. The workers came.
Wait, did you see that? Okay, we got to go back. We got to watch. Okay, so the experience, that's really funny. Okay, so you can see that this guy's got the shoe like that right there. You can see that he's got the shoe like that. And it's obvious that his like foot is out at the bottom of it. And then the next thing, okay, I'm so blown away by this. The first thing about this one is, so she says that our favorite store is Sephora. I'm really hoping, and I'm going to try to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Sephora is a makeup store, by the way. If the guy's favorite store is also Sephora, I don't believe that that man is actually into this girl, if you know what I'm saying. Secondly, she says she needs to go grab a few things for this trip we're going on. And then next she will say, you will hear her, and she will say, it's working perfectly. Look at the image that is shown as she says it's working perfectly.
For a trip we're going on. The experience was absolutely perfect.
Or the experience was absolutely perfect, is what she said. But you can see right there at the bottom, his foot is out of the shoe. It is not working perfectly. Remember when they said the toenails were supposed to be able to grab on? I'm sorry, I'm so angry about this. I know this is a stupid thing to be really angry about, but I just think this is so dumb. They have not, when they say that there's all these benefits, have not listed a single benefit. It means the world to them. Okay, cool. But why? Like, what trend are you trying to start here? There is no verifiable reason to this trend.
Absolutely perfect. The workers came up to us, they talked to us, they even complimented our shoes. I definitely recommend this if you're trying to go incognito barefoot. It's the perfect way to get all the benefits of going barefoot, but also have no one know.
This is so weird. This is so weird. Why is this something that, okay, I cover a lot of different trends and such on this show. I talk about dating trends. I talk about weird things in terms of the workplace, of what's going on with my generation. I talk about a lot of different trends. And this seems like it's starting to be a trend. Now, the thing is even all the trends that I discuss that I tear down, like the body positivity trend, that's one I talk about a lot. The body positivity trend, I talk about a lot. Whenever I tear these down, I can see the other side. I can see why. I can understand why somebody would say, oh no, we need to be nice to everybody and we need to tell them they're beautiful, because at a surface level, it makes sense in that, like, the be kind and that you want to make people feel good about themselves. But I'm a tough love person. And so I get to the deeper argument. There is no like verifiable reason as to why, at least presented here, as to why going barefoot is a good idea, or why it even means so much to them. They're starting a trend that has no real meaning, and that's what pisses me off about this. There is no real meaning to it. But before I get too angry about that one, I'm going to go on to this next one. Oh, perfect. Speaking of body positivity, we're going to take a look and a listen at this one.
Stay with your favorite body positive bestie. Actually, it's more like an hour, but what an hour we had. We went to the jewelry store located in downtown Toronto called Up and Armed. They're tarnish free. They have gorgeous stuff. And I picked out this amazing charm bracelet. Each charm just like represents me, especially the money bag. They had so many cool things. I also walked out with like this gorgeous necklace. I just like love what it says. It speaks to me. And that's it. Okay, bye. I love you.
I'm very happy that the money bag represents her. Great, from that jewelry store. I am very sad that she said we were going to spend a day with her, and all she did in that day, apparently, was go to the jewelry store. I don't understand how any of that had to do with body positivity. As she stated at the beginning of that she was like the favorite body positivity influencer, whatever the hell. But good for her. At least she got out and she was walking. I'm going to look at the bright side on that one. Good for her. Good for her. That's what I'm going to say about that one. Let's take a look at this next one. Let's see if it brings as much positivity to my world as that last one. Let's go here. Okay, I need to edit my screen up just a little bit more so you guys can see all of this here. Oh, that's too small. Maybe we'll go like this. I'm doing my best here, everybody. Producing it on my own, not always easy. We'll just go like this for this one. Take a look and a listen.
Hello, and welcome to A Day in the Life. Today I'm joining a friend to get the life sucked out of her. Starting my day with a long run because she can't be the only one down a few pounds today. This is the second time I've joined a friend for one of these, so I'm getting good reps in. For breakfast, I'm having scrambled eggs to celebrate the scrambling of hers.
Oh my God!
Then we head out to meet Sam. Look at all those numbers. It reminds me of all the ages her child won't see. Teaching your kid how to ride a bike has to be one of the most beautiful moments a parent can have. Not today, though. Getting Sam a small breakfast before her procedure. She's eating for two, but not for long. And now we're walking down. I feel like I'm in the movie Juno if they decided it should have been a short film. Stopping off at the library because she'll be gone for about 3 hours. Ah, my favorite. What to expect when you're no longer expecting by termination and empty womb. And we've arrived in the waiting room, or as I like to call it, the sleigh lounge. Sending her on her way because duty calls. And just like that, she's done. She looks like she could fly, although that might just be the wings of her angel baby. Now we're getting some ice cream, and there's 3 spoons. One for me, one for Sam, and one for sweet, sweet Archibald.
That's so messed up. Look, I think that is in this, like that, I am, how dark do you have to be? See, here's the problem with this. So a lot of the like jokes and puns in there, I'm a very dark humor kind of person. Abortion is awful. I have said that. I have made my pro-life stance very clear on here. I can laugh at just about anything if it's genuinely funny. Some of the jokes he made in there were funny. The saddest part of that, though, was that a child actually died. And that's what he was really joking. That's why it's messed up. He was joking about his friend and also being an abortion chaperone. That's a thing. I need more TikToks of abortion chaperones because that is a fascinating concept to me. And so I see comments coming. That was evil. Yes, messed up by all means. Messed up. I am just in absolute shock. I feel like, you know, like how some people laugh when they get uncomfortable. That's how I feel about all of that. I am just, wow. I have quite the following to have that one sent to me. Again, all of these are sent to me by followers. And so we're going to take a look at this next one now because that one was just despicable. The saddest thing about that, I do want to be clear too, is that we have a society that celebrates abortion in so many ways. I've heard some phenomenal jokes from comedians that make light, and they're dark, and it's really messed up, but it's funny from about very dark subjects from comedians. But it's different when you're on a stage making it than when you're genuinely making light of a very, very sad situation. And that's what was happening in that. And that's what happens from the leftists, is that they don't actually see it as if they're taking a life, and an innocent life as well. And that's why it's really messed up. But let's go to this next one and see what we're gonna talk about with this today. It already looks just fascinating. So let's see. Oh, yay. It looks like a vegan. God, you know me and vegans, we get along so well. Let's take a look and a listen.
Babies in piggeries literally dying in my hands because their mothers accidentally crushed them, as their mothers spend their entire lives in cages just so you can have bacon. I've been to dairy farms and seen babies in tiny cages, just days old, and their mothers exploited and raped so you can consume dairy products. Please stop paying for this violence and watch Dominion on YouTube.
I always find vegans have some of the most fascinating activism techniques, because a lot of times they go into places where you're trapped with them. Like, have you ever been on a subway with a mariachi band? Like, you're on a subway and you're just kind of like minding your own business, and a mariachi band comes on, and all of a sudden, like, literally, like, the loudest thing you've ever heard just blares. That's kind of how vegan activism works. If you look at this woman, she is on a bus, it looks like, and she's just there screaming about piggeries, and they're suffering in cages, and there's rape, so that you can have vegan, or so you can have bacon. That'd be the funniest thing in the world to me. I would have so much fun with that. I love it. I will never forget. I was on, and a college campus is a little bit different. You could walk away and everything like that. But there was one time I was on my college campus at Illinois State, and they had these people out there that were advertising vegan things, and it was like, stop the harm to these animals, and they were handing out pamphlets and everything like that. And I walked by, and I just said, no, I'm good. Like, very calmly, I just go, no, I'm good. I'm not a pussy. And I just kept walking. And like the instant anger from those people, how could you say? They were stunned. And pun intended, I left them speechless. I did. I left them speechless. Okay, we got one more here. I see the chat starting to blow up with some people, so I'll make sure to see what you guys are saying soon. Before we end out the show here. But here's another one. You guys really like to have me look at the fat people, apparently. So I'm going to move myself over a little bit more. Update. Here we go. Let's take a look and a listen at this one. I've talked about this girl before. This is the girl. She went big, like, over the summer. Went big, pun intended. Because she was like demanding that airlines should give people free seats because she's fat and travels. So let's see what this big mama jamma has to say.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we check to see if there's a customer size policy before booking.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we're expected to pay more just to travel comfortably.
We're plus.
Yes, you are expected. You should be paying more to travel comfortably, because I shouldn't have to offset the cost of your comfort. That shouldn't be my responsibility. It should be your responsibility to make yourself comfortable. One way you do that, focus on calories in, calories out.
Plus size travelers. Of course, we think about if we need a second seat before we book a flight.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we ask for the seatbelt extender as soon as we board the flight.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we get dirty looks anytime we're traveling.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, society doesn't believe we deserve to travel.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we can't use the tray table on a plane.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we have to look through tons of pictures just to see if a place is plus size friendly.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we have to walk sideways down the plane aisle to make sure we don't hit you with our ass.
We're plus size.
And yet they still will. Personal experience. It's happened.
Travelers. Of course, we can't use the airplane lavatory comfortably.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we have to do hours of research just to go somewhere.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we use apps like Seat Guru to navigate travel in a bigger body.
We're plus size
In a bigger body. I always hate how they do that. That's one thing of the fat acceptance movement I've always had a problem with is in a bigger body. Because what that does is it removes like the accountability for why your body is the way that it is. You have control over that. You do have control over that. And if you don't feel like you do, know that you do. Because I, at one point in my life, felt like I didn't have control over my weight and my size. And that no matter what I did, it was just always going to be that way. But as many of you know, I've lost a lot of weight from diet and exercise. It actually works. It actually does. If you put your time, your mind, your heart, your sweat, blood, and tears into it, it'll happen. So let's see what else is going on here.
travelers. Of course, we check the weight limits on like almost everything.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we have to worry about weight-based discrimination.
Weight-based discrimination. Weight-based discrimination. Okay, I have a lot to say about that one, but give it a sec. Let's finish this up.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we bring compression socks on all of our trips.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we can't find our sizes in souvenir shops.
We're plus size travelers. Of course, we get an extra pat down at security.
Okay, so when it comes to all of this, the extra pat down, I'll start with that one to end off. The extra pat down is because, yes, there's more size of you and more space of which you're covering, to where there is much more likelihood that you could be hiding something somewhere. I'm just going to leave it at that, point blank. Secondly, the weight-based discrimination is the richest one to me. And here's the problem I have with so much of leftist narratives on the majority of what they talk about. And really what it is it's the idea that discrimination of any kind is automatically bad. It's not. Discrimination is not inherently bad. Discrimination based off of certain things is, and in certain instances, yes, you should not disqualify a candidate for a job when all else is equal and one is black and one is white, or one is man and one is woman. No, it should not be based on any of those things. There should not be that level of discrimination. But when it comes to a job, by definition, it is discriminatory to say, I want to hire somebody with a college degree versus somebody that does not have a college degree. That's discrimination. It's understandable, and it's not automatically bad. And that doesn't even have to do with like safety. Let's talk about weight-based discrimination here, as that man just did. Weight-based discrimination could be you're going on a roller coaster, and if you are too heavy, the roller coaster could fall off the tracks and people will die. So sorry, you can't be more than 300 pounds to go on this roller coaster. Sorry, you can't be more than 300, 400 pounds to fly on this plane because it could lean one way or the other and screw it up. And make everybody else die. Look, the lefties could do this. They could take the slightest thing and say that Kevin Phares says discrimination is good. In some instances, yeah. Because in some instances, definitively, discrimination saves lives. Put that on a t-shirt. Discrimination saves lives. It does. So weight-based discrimination, go for it. If it's for a good reason. Yeah, no, like you shouldn't be like, oh man, he's a fat guy, he shouldn't work here. Unless it's a gym, maybe that would be an issue. But like overall, yeah, like discrimination can be a good thing. And that's the problem with the left, is they see any instance of it as a bad thing. It's problematic. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff. Let's get to these comments here. Okay, I see Andrea is back. I see Mama Carol's here. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Because it's just a clump of cells. Andrea, thank you for being here. It's been a while. We'll get you on. We'll do a live stream at some time. If you guys didn't know, for everybody watching, I do consistently do live streams now on Sundays. I usually start between 5 and 6. I've gone a little bit longer tonight. I usually will go around an hour. I had a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about tonight. Jim is here. Thank you, Jim. Demon Girl still here. Thank you. Mental illness on display. You're right. You're right. I saw Mama Carol here too. I love you guys. Mama Carol. Applewood smoked yummy. Absolutely. Love me some bacon. Now I want some brown sugar maple bacon. Good stuff. Maybe they're traveling to visit every cheesecake factory in the country. Maybe. Mama Carol. I love Mama Carol. Thank you, Mama Carol, for being here. You're the best. Some ground venison. Good stuff. Travel in an RV to have enough room. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Compression socks so they do not get blood clots and stroke out. Yeah. That's why they separate people when you fly privately. Yep. You weren't getting notifications. Yes, this is because ScrewTube has been an asshole. So make sure you just check. That's what I tell people is make sure, obviously ring the notification bell, do all that stuff, but also just check. Just check. All that stuff. Yeah, I do have to ask. Wait. I haven't gotten, are you single? I could do worse. I knew at one point, Andrea, I was setting you up. Was it with Chicken Cam? I was setting you up with somebody on here. And I gotta know, how's that going? I gotta know, how's it going? Not getting those bastards. Absolutely. Mama Carol's the best. Love you, Mama Carol. I have not gotten updates as to the romance that was budding, the speechless romance that I initiated through email. Don't know. You don't have to do it publicly. You don't have to share it publicly, but if you would like to, Andrea, let me know. Nope, it was not Chicken Cam. I forgot who it was. It's been quite a while. And I got to know. It's a lot of drama. I will remind everybody that to make sure you guys keep tuning in on Sundays. I also do my live streams on Saturdays with Breakaway USA. Breakaway USA is great. Do a lot of great work with them. Make sure you guys are watching my shorts and stuff too, because recently ScrewTube has been trying to make it so that nobody sees those. And I have some amazing memes I've been posting, and I love them. Go check out my TikTok at SpeechlessKev. If you're on that, go check out my Instagram at SpeechlessKev. I made a new one. Check that out. It'd be awesome if you guys would. And if you want to support the show in other ways as well, you guys check out my Venmo and my Cash App. I had a camera actually. So this is a older camera that I've had to use because my other one broke. I want to get a new laptop so I can work with OBS a little bit more and do a lot of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I want to do and invest in. So if you guys are interested in supporting the show financially, I'd appreciate it. Thank you for the consideration. I'm also glad you got the notification, and thank you for saying that, David. I love when you guys are tuning in. I keep trying to make it as good as I can, as good and better as I can with the resources I currently have. We're only growing. We're only getting better. And so one of the biggest things I can say, I always say, obviously, my like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff, and I rattle it off easy, but I really do mean it. Every like matters to me. Every subscription matters to me, and sharing it and getting other people to subscribe means so much to me. All of it, sharing, commenting, every comment. I love it when you guys interact with me, not only on the live streams, but also on the videos that I post. That's how it went. That man was supposed to call me at 8, which he did not. He was texting me, and at 9, he said he was going to jump in the shower. Oh, there must be more, Andrea. I'm waiting. I've been waiting. This is amazing. I love this. This is so much fun. After I get the rest of the tea from Andrea, everybody, if you can't keep your word about a phone call, then you are a man who cannot keep your word. Yes, and a word is at a minimum what a man has. And if he has a word, then if he does not have a word, then what does he have? But maybe we'll see. He's obviously not here right now. I got to double check. I don't remember exactly who he was, and I don't want to display him right here. But if he is in the chat and he would like to apologize, or if anybody else would like to play Bachelor with Andrea, I'll be more than happy, if she's still consenting, to help negotiate this. At least text her. Oklahoma Chicken Cam is seeming like he's circling. Maybe Oklahoma Chicken Cam is going to make a shot. Shoot your shot, Oklahoma. What's the worst that can happen? But everybody, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got to get out of here. I got to eat. I got to have a good night. But please consider watching some of my other stuff. I'd really appreciate it. Oh, I got to see what these comments say before I leave. And that was the end of that. Am I a difficult woman? Yep. We know. I've spent so much time doing phone counseling. I hadn't had a chance to listen. Turn it on, click on the like, and I don't get to listen. Free mental health cost time. I volunteer. Well, that's too sweet of you, Mama Carol. Like I always say, you are one of the good ones, one of the best ones. So thank you so much for the time that you can give me. I appreciate it. And even more. So, but once again, I'm going to go eat. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Make sure to tune in next Sunday. Maybe I'll even do a midweek stream. I'll send out like kind of a chat or something to hopefully let people know. But follow me on everything else too. If you guys want to make sure you don't miss a minute, Twitter, Instagram, everything. Check it out. Link in the bio, all that. God bless you guys. God bless America. And until next time, you've been watching Speechless.